let's look at some practical, concrete things you can do to become a better writer. Hi guys, I'm Marilyn and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about practical writing tips. So these aren't going to be craft-based tips on how to write a specific type of thing like many of my other videos. These are going to be things that you can practically do in order to make the writing process easier, become a better writer, and learn more about writing. Before we dive in, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that little bell if you want writing advice videos every single Friday and occasionally some great bonus content. Let's dive in. So the first tip is getting feedback on a draft is invaluable. So before I really knew what I was doing, I would draft a book, self-edit it a little bit, and then publish it to Wattpad or even query literary agents. But now that I understand the publishing process and the writing process a lot better, I use critique partners, alpha readers, and beta readers to make my books the best that they can possibly be before starting to query literary agents or considering self-publishing. And let me tell you, it helps so much. So getting feedback from unbiased people who write or read in your genre is really invaluable for knowing how to make your manuscript the absolute best that it can be. These people can help so much to point out the weaknesses in your book and help you to fix them so that you can ultimately put an amazing book out into the world. Then next up is learn as much as you can for free. I know this may sound like I'm self-plugging, but I really think that writing and publishing advice is so important to look at and to take in. There are so many blogs, YouTube channels, Twitter accounts, etc. where people share inside looks into the publishing process or writing advice, and it is free. It's right there and you can just take it in like a sponge. So for the last 2 years, I tried to ensure that I watch at least one AuthorTube video every day, and the amount of information I have learned in that time is really astonishing, and it didn't cost me a dime. So you can learn about the writing craft, about self-publishing, about the process of traditional publishing, marketing, business, cover design, you name it. And you can build up that knowledge over time so that eventually when you get to that step, you're super well informed. Of course, there are also things like Skillshare classes and online courses, but I would recommend seeing what you can find for free first. So if you trust the presenter and the topic is something that you really want to learn more about and you feel like you need to know more about, then go ahead and pay for the course or sign up for Skillshare. Then number 3 is use an out loud editor for self-edits. So once you've gone through all of your edits via reading the document, I would suggest using some type of app or software to read your manuscript to you. So this can be a valuable final step in the editing process. It's a great way to catch typos, weirdly phrased sentences, or pacing issues. Microsoft Word has a read aloud feature that is really great. And then if you want to edit or listen to the manuscript and make comments on your phone, then you can use the Edit Out Loud app. Then use post-its to outline. So this is my personal process. It won't work for everyone, but I think that it is worth a try. So every scene that comes to my mind, I write it on a little post-it. Then I stick them on my closet door in order, leaving spaces where I know there are still other scenes that need to be filled in. So it's pretty easy to move scenes around and also to see where holes in the plot are, where there are still gaps where you need to add in maybe a subplot or more scenes, maybe flesh out some plot points a bit. So I do this actually over a few months with each book. So as soon as I think of an idea, I start putting up post-its on a closet door. And then as I get more ideas for that project, I add scenes with little post-its. So by the time I want to start drafting, I have a pretty good idea what's going to happen in the book because I've been plotting with post-its for months. So you can also use virtual post-its on Microsoft or on Scrivener. There are probably other sites or software that you can use for this. You don't have to use actual physical post-its. I like doing it this way just because then I have it smack bang in my face. I look at it every day and it helps me to get a little bit of inspiration as well. So this is great because I'm somewhere between a plotter and a pantser. So this is a great way for me to do an outline or plotting, which means that I'm not actually sitting down and creating an outline. It is a very creative flowing process that happens over quite some time, and there are still gaps by the time I start drafting, and that I will fill in as I go along. And then lastly, keep an edit notes document as you draft. So I used to edit as I wrote, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it took me years and years and years to finish anything because I would keep going over the same piece of writing 2, 3, 4 times before moving on to the next piece. So now I would rather not edit as I write. If I know that there's an issue, I will put it in my edit document, which is a separate document, and then I know that I have to look at everything in that edit document once I start self-editing. So this helps so much with drafting faster, kind of just moving on. And also it's a great first step when you start self-editing your book, because a lot of the times when you get to the self-editing stage you kind of don't know where to begin, and now you always have a starting point. So yeah, those are some of my practical writing tips. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe and ring that little bell if you want writing advice videos like this one every single Friday. As always, you can find me on my website, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. All the links are listed below, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye!